Hey FlossTube, this is Brian. Welcome back. This is my fourth FlossTube video. It is going to be a quick video that talks about my Lokscroll frame, and I also plan on showing you how I load fabric in it. So this is my Lokscroll frame. You see that you have your standard stretcher bars and then scroll rods, and you can see here the scroll rods have this groove that's cut into them, and then there are these slats that fit into the grooves, and those slats are meant to hold your fabric. Now this is the widest, these scroll bars are the widest scroll bars that they make. They are specified as 30 inches wide. However, that's a little bit deceiving because this groove here is only 27 inches wide. So the maximum width of fabric that you can fit in here is 27 inches. They claim that you can actually fit 28 inches wide if you clip the corners. I've never done that, so I don't know that for sure. I like having the widest scroll bars possible because I like to work on big projects, and I figure that it's easy to put a smaller width fabric on larger width scroll bars than to put a large width fabric on a smaller width scroll bar. So I just have the largest size. I think that if I wanted a smaller size, I would get a size that held 18-inch fabric, because then I would have a size that would hold a fat quarter, or a size that I could put on a fat eighth, which are basically standard sizes of fabric that you can buy. So, and you could also fit a fat half on this portrait. You couldn't fit it landscape, but you could fit it portrait. So that basically gives me the enough versatility to stitch almost anything I want. It's kind of a pain because if I have to stitch on a fat half and the picture's landscape, then I have to stitch from the side. But so anyway, I'm going to show you how I load this, and I have our family tree project that I'm going to load on here just as an example, because that's 27 inches. You'll see it fits pretty good. So what I do is the real trick with this is you want to make sure that you get your fabric as straight as possible. So one thing that I do is I lay the fabric over the top of my frame, and then I put it so that the edges match up with the knobs. And I do that because I think that's just an attempt to try to get the fabric to run straight through the frame. And then I just push this slat in over the fabric, and then I kind of check and make sure it's straight. There have been times when I've tightened it up and then unrolled it again to kind of adjust the tension of my frame. Now when I load my frames, I always roll them so that the back side of the fabric is exposed. That way if I do get something on it, it'll only affect the back side. And then I want to do the same down here, try to keep it as straight as possible. And then put the other thing that you'll notice about this is when you're working with wide pieces of fabric, the slat is quite a bit narrower than the groove. And so it's not as long as the groove is. And so in order to kind of try to keep tension straight, up on the top I put the slat so that it was abutting over here. On this down here I'm going to put it so that it abuts over on this other side, because you don't have the slat to hold the tension on both sides. And you'll also want to have a kind of a significant amount of material, I think that helps hold everything in place. So now I'm just going to roll this up, and when I get, like, when I'm aligning, if I want to align to the bottom, I roll up till I have my design about where I want on the bottom, and then I tighten up both of the knobs on the bottom. So now those knobs are tight, and it's kind of a pain because as you tighten, the knobs tighten on one side. So now I'm going to roll up the top. I'm going to continue to try to keep everything nice and even. Okay. Now these knobs over on the side, these extra knobs are kind of nice because you can grab onto them to tighten them. And what I try to do is I try to get it as tight as I can, and then I tighten this knob over here. As tight as I can go, and then I come back over here and keep that tight and tighten this knob. So that actually feels pretty good. It's really tight over here. It's a little bit looser over here, but that'd be tight enough for me to stitch. So there's my frame all loaded, ready to go. You'll notice I've got stitch fabric in here, so that helps keep it tighter in the middle than on the ends. I don't know, if I were really picky and was really going to stitch on this, I think I'd come over here and try to tighten up this side a little bit, but that's pretty good. So that's how I load my Lokscroll frame. If you have any questions about the Lokscroll frame or any comments, feel free to ask them down below, and I'll try to answer your questions as best as possible. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you later.